Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So please continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video, and you can pray to the God of dislikes as well. Um, but Thanksgiving is a very tricky time for me, especially in regard to workplace issues. I've had a lot of Thanksgivings where I've gotten taken advantage of at work. I've had a lot of Thanksgivings where I didn't get treated fairly at work. Earlier this morning, I already talked about a situation I ran into at a tutoring center. This was in 2021 when we had just reopened from COVID-19 restrictions, and I was overworked, right? Because a lot of my colleagues were finally going to take the trips that they have been waiting 2 years to take at this point. I stayed behind, and my boss decides to repay me by asking me to leave just as I was about to work with my favorite student and cut my hours short, right? I mean, now that I've had time, I've had 3 years to reflect on it. In retrospect, there were times and opportunities for me to speak up for myself that I missed at the time. It's so easy when you can think for 3 years on a situation, right? It's a lot different when you have 3 seconds to respond to the boss when he asks you to leave, right? Very different concept, right? I need to get better at that. Uh, but I was working at a startup company when one of my colleagues became very hostile to me, and he wouldn't talk to me. I would see him at the break room or even in the office. I would ask him for literally, I would be asking, needing to find out about a file or something like that. And we were working with the software. Where's this file? He would not answer me. There would be other colleagues nearby. He made me look very stupid in front of him. And long story short, it's a big reason why I left the company. And I think that was his goal. We never spoke after I left the company either. I've spoken to other colleagues at the place, and I really think that was his goal, to get me out of there. And at the time, he had been working there for 3 years. I'd been there for a few weeks, and I really didn't have much of any standing to do anything about it. In retrospect, now that I've had 8 years to think about that situation, this also happened during a Thanksgiving, there were quite a number of things I could do, especially to put things in writing. Right? Email him. Hey, I noticed that we've had some differences ever since your Thanksgiving vacation. Is there something that I can do to resolve this? Let's work on building the best software we have, right? And let's not let personal problems get in the way, especially to put it in writing. If he doesn't respond to that email, maybe maybe also put in writing. Hey, you may have noticed that Bob and I have had this tension. If there's something that you guys notice that we are not, please let us know, because we can't let this get in the way of creating the best software in the world, right? Maybe something like that, right? In retrospect, right, it's a very different concept when it's ongoing, it's day to day, and you're fielding all sorts of problems at the moment, right? And unfortunately, these two situations are not atypical of holiday experiences for me. Right now, I'm also running into a little bit of tension, but this one's not eating me so badly. I have a colleague here at CAC who has been trying to organize an event, a party, if you will, at her home. And she scheduled it 3 times and canceled it 3 times. And today I'm going to have to very firmly tell her that until she has, I wish her well. It sounds like she has some personal matters. I wish you well, but let's wait until you're better off to do this, because I am autistic. She knows I'm autistic. I am autistic, and these roller coaster rides have not been doing too well. I know you're well intentioned, but these roller coaster rides have been very rough on me. Thank you so much for trying to organize this. Today I'm going to have to be firm with her, because I cannot continue to ride this roller coaster with her. It's eating me, and I have better people to see now. And I really get the sense that maybe not this one colleague, But some of my other colleagues prey on the fact that I'm lonely and I'll entertain these things. I'll entertain somebody ghosting me, right? I'll entertain working at an odd hour, right? I really feel a lot of colleagues will take advantage and pounce on those opportunities. I really do. I really do. And even this one colleague, she might not be trying to take advantage of that, but she might not have a lot of deterrence in these cancellations, right? Um, and so I'm gonna have to be firm with her. And I got my favorite weapon here. Apparently, celery has a chemical that makes guys smell attracted to girls. But by the way, the colleague that I'm interacting with, she's a lot older than me. I'm not trying to attract her, but smelling attractive is probably a good idea anyway when you're trying to communicate. But continue to pray that I have a good healthy Thanksgiving. I'm trying to think where else I've run into trouble. I have never gotten any good treatment at work during the holidays. I always work the odd hours. I always, you know what's really frustrating? When you decide to go above and beyond and work those odd hours, and you do 9 things out of 10 right, and you make a mistake, right? After all, long hours lead to all sorts of mistakes, right? I don't think I need to tell you that. That's why we're only allowed to drive 11 hours on a truck, right? I wish we had similar rules for the office. Long hours have a tendency to lead to mistakes. You could do 99 out of 100 things right, and the one thing you do wrong, that's the only thing the boss will see. When he forgets that you're the one that showed up! I really despise that. I really despise that. And that's what I get for showing up. And we're not talking like, okay, if I killed somebody on the office, if I caused an accident, if I sexually harassed somebody. No, we're not talking about that. We're literally talking about you overlooked something in software, right? You overlook something. When you're the only one to show up on Christmas Day to answer a bug, and you overlook something that still had good results. When you're the only one to show up to the tutoring center on Thanksgiving Eve, and you accidentally make a minor sensitive remark, right? Maybe you used an example that was a little bit sensitive. Maybe politics, right? So for example, one example you probably would not want to use at the tutoring center is what might happen in an election recount if the numbers go this way, right? Yeah, I agree with that. When I'm zoned out after tutoring multiple double shifts on multiple days, I forgot, right? And I showed up at least, right? I'm very angry about this thing. One time my boss was upset at me for, I didn't do the politics issue. One time my boss was upset at me because I had been tutoring a 5th grader about money and math, and I explained to him how much money he could save for college by starting early, and my boss thought that was too sensitive of a topic for the kid. Okay. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.